Morning, boys. I'm late to the show today, but has anything been said about the Irish doing a lap of honour after their game? It was like they'd won the cup. Stay humble, man. Do it if you've lost or won the cup. Just my thoughts, Doug. I hadn't actually seen anything about this until I saw Doug's text. Had you been on your radar at all, Izzy?
Nah, look, I actually was the same as you, Rick Dog. I left and went outside and started doing some jobs about 10, 15 ago. I just thought Ireland was just too classy. When you're able to take off Johnny Sexton, and I applaud Andy Farrell for doing that because they were well ahead. Don't want to run the risk because without Johnny Sexton, Ireland have got nothing. Well, they have something, but he is their team. He is their important person in that squad. I just think it's an appreciation for the fans, to be honest. I don't think there was any intention for cockiness. I think the Irish fans and the French fans need to take a bow. They need to start giving out lessons and some just some work on what they do in the supporters. They are the best, most passionate supporters going around.
Honestly, watching it on TV, Kempy, I would have thought that game was in Dublin because it was like there was no Scotsmen there.
Same.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they walked around was because, Andy Farrell's come out and he said, it's like having another player out on the field when we've got our fans there and we need to show the appreciation that we know that they're there. I thought it was a really good move that he's gone around and acknowledged them because he knows he needs them this week to lift his team. And as he said right about Johnny Sexton, mate, that they lose Johnny Sexton, they've got more of a chance, the All Blacks. I'm just a little bit worried, Izzy, about the rush defence. I just still don't think that the All Blacks have conquered that one yet.
Yeah, look, that's Ireland's biggest success over the All Blacks as of late is the rush D. But then on the flip side, I'm not understanding why teams aren't implementing that on Ireland. Bringing a lot of heat. You look at Johnny Sexton and the way that they're able to do it. When you're passing the ball to that receiver and you're able to wrap around, get a ball out the back, and still have a lot of time to make the right decision, that means it's a team's in a hell of a lot of indecision. How do you fix that? You got to get players up on their feet, get them in positions where they are confident, they're understanding of who they got, come forward and put the pressure back on Ireland. Because all the pressure that they're applying on other teams aren't returning the favour, aren't returning it to Ireland and just allowing them to play. So, yeah, I can see what you mean, Kempy, but I think if we are able to play the way that we would love to play, and what I say by that is ball in hand, ball in the play for long periods of time, where we can play that up-tempo game, and we're not stop-starting from the TMOs, checking everything, or the referees stopping and blowing the whistle constantly, then I reckon we can really put pressure on that rush defence.
Yeah,
it's going to take a lot of bravery. It's going to take a lot of great decisions to be made from our drivers, but I think we can.
Who gets the referee the game? Has that been announced yet, or who are you thinking is going to get it?
Look, I don't have any clue who will get it as long as it's. I could handle Wayne Barnes. I think Wayne Barnes has been very good up in the north. If you want a northern referee, you'd love to see him. Anyone outside of that, I just hope for the life of me we don't get Matthew Carley. And Matthew Carley's the referee that refereed the South African game at Twickenham. He's refereed a few. Look, the refs are going to play a huge part. How bad is that when you say this game is going to be won and lost on crucial moments and big decisions from a referee's point of view? That's what I'm saying. And it's hard for me to say it, but am I right? Are we thinking the same, lads?
What a road to redemption that we're saying that we hope we get Wayne Barnes.
I know. Well, I hope we get him because he's always got the back of his mind that the All Blacks one or two.
One or two. I was going to ask, what about the fullback spot? I mean, there's three options as far as I see it, and I'm starting to think the longer this tournament goes on, the less likely it is that it's going to be Beauden Barrett.
Yeah, look, I know what you're saying, but I just don't think that Fozzie will make that change. He's had 4 years to make that change, and he hasn't made it. So I don't think he's going to come out in the quarterfinal and make that change. Look, I've seen a lot from Damien. Don't get me wrong, I've had to change my tune on Damien. I just think with Beauden being at fullback, there wouldn't be a position for Damien on the bench. But there has to be a position for Damien on the bench with just how well he is playing. He's got that X factor about him. He's got that randomness about him. Whether that's enough to win in a big pressure moment in the quarterfinal. Well, time will tell, but he has to be in the conversation now. I don't think they'll change the fullback role, Ricardo. I think they'll stick tried and true with Richie Mo'unga at 10, Bowden at fullback, and Will Jordan on the wing with Mark Telea on the left. I think they'll just keep it the same to what we saw against Italy. It's just too late. It's too like why would they do that now? It wouldn't surprise me because they've been confusing as hell with some of the ways that they've got to approach these games. But I think they'll stay tried and true to what they've done already, and it'll be the same team.
It's whether or not they can pick a team that can actually stick to a system and give them more than 14 points, because the Irish are only averaging 13.8 points a game. So defensively, they've been very, very good. So it isn't going to be a hell of a lot of points that one would think, especially with that rush defence. So picking Bowden Barrett at fullback is, if you're making a change, the only reason he'd make a change is if you can think that he can break up that defensive pattern. Do you think, as with what you've seen in the last two games and that the attacking flair that we've shown, that we can actually go out there and break down the Irish defence and get that 14 points needed or more?
I do, but the only problem I have right now is just watching the Irish pack. Their pack is so dominant, and they are very good at all the facets of forward play. The line-out's very, very good. The scrum is strong. Around the park, their ability to play the ball to space, from a forward pack point of view, they are very, very skillful. So I think if we're going to have any chance, there's talk of Tyrell Lomax potentially being available. It's not as bad as it originally thought, which is a great sign for the All Blacks, because I think up front we're a little bit thin. But if him and Ethan de Groot are available, I think we can match them. But I think if we get our front foot football, we're able to get over that gain line, and we're able to give our backs and our players and our drivers good front foot ball, then 100% we can upset this Irish team. No one's predicting it. Everyone's riding off the All Blacks, but everyone but this team in black, they know what they can do, and I fully believe that they can beat this Irish team.
So what do you take out of the Irish-South African game, especially the way that, we played here at Mount Smart, and then we go to England, we get absolutely dominated with this 7-1 split on the bench, this forward domination, and then Ireland come out and they absolutely take it to the South Africans with the same setup. What do you take out of that, having watched that, and where do we need to make sure that we're consistent against Ireland?
We need to be good at the breakdown. The breakdown is probably where we've been exposed a wee bit over the last while. Like, we've been dominated in the breakdown era. The South Africans just showed us if you're not over the ball, you're not in a dominant position, you're going to get blown off it. Ireland have some unbelievable fetches. Peter O'Mahony is he played his 100th test on the weekend. He is absolutely class. If you give him any air at that breakdown, he will punish you. So I think it's just that old saying, if you win the upfront battle and you're able to, because we match them in the backs. Don't get me wrong, we match them in the backs. We probably have better skill sets in the backs than they have at the moment, but up front is where it's all played. The foundations that you are able to lay for your backs to be able to do what they do, that's where it's won. So if we're able to match them physically and at the ad line, then I think we'll get over the top of them.
Hey, Dagger, I think you're right. Fozzie's going to pick the same fullback wing fly half combo for his last game as coach this weekend. Good luck to him from Nicky J.
Yeah, I know. Look at how you lads feeling. Like when you think about it, after watching Ireland dismantle Scotland, get over South Africa, they're on an 18-match winning streak or whatever it is. I think the world record's 21. Which the All Blacks got in 2016, I think it was, when they lost to Ireland in 2016.
Well, Dag, I'm listening to you, right? And you're talking like we're underdogs, but we've got a shot. That's how it sounds. And I don't know if that's how you feel, but that's what I'm picking up.
We are underdogs. We are definitely underdogs. Everyone's ridden this team, and no one's even talking about them. You look at Tui Pelutu, the 12 for Scotland. He says no one even they're not even in the conversation now. because how dominant the northern teams have been. But I genuinely think the last 2 weeks, like yes, we played Italy, yes, we played Uruguay, but Uruguay weren't an easy team to beat. We beat them 70-0. You know, like they pushed France. Yes, everyone would say that wasn't France's top team, but that wasn't the All Blacks' top team. And they only beat them 27-17 or something like that. It was really, really close. So I think it's going to be a tough ask, don't get me wrong. But I fully think if we get calls going our way, and, you know, like if we have a referee that's able to officiate and allow the game to play at open pace, we will get over the top of this team. If the ball's in play for long periods of time, this Irish team will fatigue. They will fatigue under pressure, and we'll be able to play the game we'll play. So honestly, if we're able to play it the way we want to, I think we can beat this team.
Yeah, a lot's going to come down to the appointment of the referee, because the refereeing at the World Cup is, everyone's complaining about how much stoppages and some of these decisions that they're making. I think that's a true look at how things will turn out. The other one for me is just under pressure. You know, if you look at Tonga Fussy on the weekend, a couple of times when he's catching that football and unloading, those micro skills are really going to let you down if you are put under pressure with a rush defence and made to make those decisions in a shorter period of time than you're used to over the last couple of weeks. And I think that's going to be probably for the All Blacks the main difference, because if they can keep the ball in hand, like you said, and dominate or compete in that ruck and that breakdown area, I do think we've got the players, but I don't have a lot of confidence actually in the micro skills at the moment. I think that's what a big part of the letdown is that when we do get to those spots and those areas where we need to just finish it off, we seem to be letting ourselves down.
Yeah, I can understand your frustration, Kempy. I was watching that game for the first 20 minutes, and I was very concerned, but the concern was more mentally for me. Like, mentally, when you're playing against Uruguay and you are expected to win, you start going away from your game plan. You're very micro skilled holding the ball. I think against an Ireland, if the offload's not on, they won't throw it. Against Uruguay, you're thinking the offload's 50-50, but against Uruguay, they're not going to punish us, they're not going to score a try, so I'll just throw it anyway. So the mindset, the mentality definitely wasn't there, and it was frustrating. They got a bollocking at halftime. They came through, and we just saw them doing the basics well. Catch the ball, run a tip, clean well, get good front foot ball, clean out, get it off the deck, keep the ball in play, kick better. So, look, I can understand concerns, but I think against Ireland, mentally, there'll be just a different edge this week, I'm feeling. There'll be just a different edge. And when you think of that forward pack, and you think of the sixth position, Shannon Frizzell starts, Sam Cane goes to 7, Adi Savia goes to 8. The bench, does Ethan Blackadder get another crack off the bench? What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. You got to put Ethan Blackadder in there, because you need someone that doesn't mind putting his head where it needs to be, but also a specialist, mate. I think you need that Ethan Blackadder type player down there. Has he played enough game time? I just think he's naturally fit to be able to go out there and handle that type of pressure. So I'm not convinced that the two that they've been using, Papali and Jacobson, are ahead of him either. Blackadder.
Nah, I think they're gone. I think that Ethan Blackadder is going to get a crack. Shannon Frizzell will start at 6. Just going back to the point about Ireland, lads. When you look at Ireland's play, everything is run through Gibson Parks and Sexton. And Sexton is the orchestrator. You know, he gets in there, he just controls this team. But you look at the way they've been playing. They have been running this formation for the last 4 years. Sexton gets it, he runs across field, he does a little dummy cut, or he gets it off the back of those two forwards, and then he's got 2 big ball runners outside him that are running good lines. And usually he can hit one of those or we go out the back. He runs across field constantly. Teams are allowing him to run across field, giving him time and with ball in hand. I just cannot for life of me see the All Blacks. If he is able to do that, they will run rings around us. Don't get me wrong, they will run rings around us. But if the All Blacks are able to get up, Kempy, like you're talking about, put pressure on them, and just upset them, start showing them, making them have to see different pitches, that is where we're going to get a lot of success, I feel.
SENZ, it's Kiwi for sport.